Oh, baby. DP.
So I went to the Pirate Bar.
Pirate Bar.
The Pirate Bar has a breakdown of every pirate that was famous enough to be listed that came to these islands. It breaks down what crimes they committed and why they're wanted. They're like wanted posters, but now we're like, yeah, stole from the king. Yeah, drink another beer. So I asked him for a super bot because that's usually what I go with. And the guy's like, hey, man, you ever tried a word I can't say? And I was like, no, I want some. I was like, what is it? He said, it's beer made right here in the Azores. I said, pour that thing, man. Pour it here. Ted, it did not have a bitter taste. I've never had beer with no bitter taste. I drank it, had another, went for a third, and said, wait. Does this have alcohol in it? He said, yeah, it's like 9.5%. I think it's coat time. Daddy's got to drive home.
Daddy's got to drive.
But anyways, man, let's talk about why we was on here, man. Preseason football. I know you're Broncos, man. Y'all are doing a quarterback battle. You watched the game, man. Tell me about the game. Who do you think is leading the battle by watching the game?
I think I'm a Drew Lock fan. I really like Teddy Bridgewater. I was really excited whenever he was picked by the team. Drew Lock, he's been pretty solid this year. I think before spring training, I think it was probably really heavily Teddy Bridgewater. And it still might be. I might be surprised when the season starts. Drew Lock might be looking for a job. I don't know. But, man, he put some plays up, man. He aired one out. He's got 80-yard touchdown pass.
Really? Man, okay.
Yeah, no interceptions. They each played one half of the game the other night. And I thought that was a really good idea. And they played some starters, and it was a good game, man. They just stopped Minnesota in the ground. It's not like they were playing Tampa Bay or somebody, but
So were you paying attention to Minnesota's team at all? Were you checking to see who they had out there?
No, I didn't know.
Okay. So you were pretty much just trying to see, man, what kind of plays are we running here? How does the quarterback look when he's got the ball?
Yeah.
Because obviously, man, I'm about to get to my frustration of preseason in a second, but both of them look like they could throw the rock.
They did. They certainly could. It's kind of weird because they've been having to split up spring training. It's almost not fair compared to other quarterbacks being the only quarterback during spring training. But they're getting equal time, or have up until now anyway. They've gotten equal time with the other players and scrimmages in the team. So thankfully, all the receivers, they each have, got to know both quarterbacks' different attributes. So it's not like one's going out there cold. So you can't say Tony Bridgewater did worse than Drew Lock because he didn't have as much time with the team, because that's not the case. They've been splitting it up very, very evenly.
No, both quarterbacks have been there. So if there's a tie, if they're equal, who do you want to win?
I'm not really a huge fan of only having one quarterback. I know I'm kind of minority opinion on that. And I think that just like any other special teams, I think if you got one guy who can pull it off, you should have that one guy. Man, look at Felipe Franks, just decimated the other team in the game he played as far as quarterback skill.
Nice run, 52 yards.
Yeah, and they were not expecting that. I mean, obviously, if he was a quarterback, then they would start getting ready for that. They'd be like, oh, here's Felipe. We're fixing to, he's fixing to run.
It's funny, man. It's funny you mentioned that because I heard today that Atlanta's going to ask him to try tight end because they think they'd have something there because it's just so fast. Which we didn't see that at Arkansas.
But how many games, though, in the third quarter and you're tied or you're down a little bit, the other team is just wore out? How many times could a running quarterback get something done if he hadn't been in the game playing the whole time? If you could put him in, he's fresh, nobody else is fresh. He could run right by.
I think that's their idea, man, because Felipe's so big. He's like 6'4", 240. Like if you could line him up at tight end, bring him back in an H-back formation, then the quarterback can either take the route or pitch to Felipe. Felipe can run out. He can still throw or run. Now you would have something there. And I don't know, man. Matt Ryan's near the end of his game. I was really shocked they didn't draft a quarterback with the 4th overall pick. They should have. They should have picked a quarterback or a great defensive back. Went to the Broncos. Won't mention his name.
I'm glad they didn't.
Okay, let's talk about preseason for a second. All right, man. So if you play in the Hall of Fame game, you get 4 preseason games. Okay. If you do not, you get 3. This is a change from last year and forever before that. We added another regular season game. We lost a preseason game. This is my complaint with preseason. If you are a team where your head coach cares about preseason, you play your starters, defense and offense, and you murder teams. Because other teams, I'm just going to use the Cowboys, for example, because they frustrate us every year. They do not care at all about preseason. Dak Prescott has not played. Amari Cooper's not played. None of the offensive linemen have played. CeeDee Lamb got in for 4 plays. Who was it? Zeke Elliott has not stepped on the field. The starting defensive linemen have not played. So the linebackers have gotten some snaps because they're trying to get the first round draft pick. Michael Parsons involves. They put the other linebackers out there so they can practice moving together. But he only played 4 snaps the first game. He played 2 series his last game. The starting defensive backs have played with it's a rookie and a first-year guy, so they need snaps. But my point is, if the Cowboys lined up against the Broncos, who are in a quarterback battle right now, it might be 70-0. And the Broncos would say, hey, man, look at how good our quarterbacks are. And then in 6 weeks, you'd say, but, man, who do they throw against? None of those guys are in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you're 100% right.
So I feel like it's not fair to the players. The coach doesn't care because they're playing against guys that holy crap, these are NFL starters. I'm trying to make a roster, and you're going to be making millions of dollars this year. And rarely do those teams match up. And that's just my only frustration, man, about the preseason because
I don't understand the preseason games anyway because I mean, as a viewer, I'm kind of a fair day fan. I don't support the team. I'm not a season ticket holder. But I mean, I'm watching the game and I'm having to watch ads, and it matters to me because it's time out of my day. I'm so happy to have it on. If they want to have these professional practices, then they should just have scrimmages and they should just play real games and eliminate preseason games. If they're all going to just continue to take it as such a waste of time attitude.
I completely agree with you because, as you just said, man. So I line up and I'm salty, guys. I'm salty. My Cowboys played against the Cardinals. The Cardinals didn't play very many of their starters. The Cowboys played less of their starters. I think at halftime it was 13-6 or something. There was a BS touchdown. I'm sorry. There was a quality touchdown by the Cardinals. They did good. Yeah. They just did it against players that are not going to play for the Cowboys this year.
Right.
And then in the second half, the Cowboys ran a quarterback in who's not going to play for them this year. So he got an entire half of football, and he's not going to play for this team.
Yeah. And good for him, man. I wish I could go play as a quarterback for a game, but if this is if this is amateur hour, then let's call it amateur hour. Not they need to go to the XFL. We have the XFL now. We don't need XFL games. We just need to have real games.
I agree. Or let's play like everybody play starters the first half, and then run the water boy in the second half. Right. Whatever. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that we got rid of a preseason game.
Yeah,
that needed to happen because goodness me, do you remember what the last week of preseason used to look like when they kept everyone from the top 52 out of the game?
Right.
And it was the 20. If you played in this game, you were getting cut on Monday. It was the word. You made the comment a couple weeks ago. Could the high school football champion play against this team? You think football looked bad in the Hall of Fame game? Go back and watch the last preseason games a year ago.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they had gone to the local grocery store and suited up players for the Hall of Fame game. That's just ridiculous. It's a complete waste of time. And man, this is like supposed to be a eventful night, not.
And I really feel like the Hall of Fame game should be the first week of the year. It should be the Thursday night game before the season starts, like the first game of the season. Like the Cowboys Buccaneers should be the Hall of Fame game, and it shouldn't be played in Canton on a high school field. Like, bring the inductees to the first game of the year. Make it a magical location. Maybe Jerry's World. Maybe pick a different location every year.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be the home of the two teams playing. Or if you want to make it a cool game, whoever played in the Super Bowl last year, make them kick off the year as the first regular season game in the Hall of Fame game. Like, make it something cool so we can honor these guys who are the best of their trade of all time. Absolutely. And make it into something awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
I'm off my soapbox, guys. I'm sorry.
So we just this week was the Field of Dreams game. I caught a few minutes of it.
Cool.
I didn't.
How cool was that?
I mean, I didn't like to get emotional, break down, and cry or anything like that. But it was seriously emotional, man. When Kevin Costner too walked through the corn, and the players, and they had the camera behind the players. They're walking out. Man, they did just a fantastic job.
They did a great job.
And I was really, I was probably more emotional and blown away by it. I was glad to see that right before the game started, the Major League Baseball Association confirmed that they will play another game there next year. At the same field. They'll play a Field of Dreams game next year also. So
that's cool. I really wish they would have asked players, those that actually had a story. Were you affected by this movie? Did you watch this movie? Did this change your game from I'm going to be a football, basketball, soccer, whatever, into playing in Major League Baseball? I mean, it probably didn't affect many of them.
I didn't.
But
I mean, they had like a 2-hour special before the game. I didn't watch any of that. Did you see the guy that was knocking all the home runs a couple years ago? What's his name? He got, later they said he was rubbing stuff on his arms.
Mark McGwire?
Mark McGwire showed up, and he was giving the kids there, he was giving them home run tips out there on the field.
Him and Sosa gave us a lot of good times.
Yeah, man, that was a great year. They were battling it out. I don't even watch baseball. I was watching that.
Everybody did that summer.
Well, let's close it out, man.
NFL coming soon. Real players. And by the way, if you have a choice on who you want to win the quarterback job for the Broncos, toss it in there. I know I have my guy, and it's going to hurt Clint's feelings. See you next week. Oh, look at that, Lexi and Raina. That's a little baby.
Yeah.
That's your little cousin. She's so tiny. Oh, or is it a he?
It's a girl.
Yeah, that's right. Athena.
Athena
Little
Nicole.
baby Athena. Oh, look at that little hand.